Previously on Historical Geocaching. I'm visiting the Huron Lightship in Port Huron, Michigan. Most recently, we finished up our time on deck learning about the air intake, bell, and more.
This is the crew's mess. Well, we have a seat here in the crew's mess. Now the eight guys that were considered crew, actually, when this was a coal-fired ship, there actually was 12 guys on board, so there would have been 9 guys considered crew. Extra guy when you got to pass coal, you always bring an extra boy on board. Help pass the coal, you know. So, this is where the crew would eat their dinners, breakfast. It seats 8, but you'd never find 8 guys in here because of the 8 that were available. There would always be one on duty on the bridge, one on duty in the engine room, and 1 or 2 would be ashore because it was their leave week. Commonly 5 or 6 people here. We've got a picture with 5 eating at this location. This would have been in the 50s. And on the left side, the picture there shows four people in the wardroom playing cards. One of those guys wasn't an officer, so you could see that they would let people in the wardroom that weren't officers. Obviously, that guy probably had money left over his pay, so he was invited in. And there's some other candid pictures of things that went on board ship here. But if you look around the ship, there's a lot of things on the walls. None of those things would have been on the walls. So they wouldn't have been decorated like this. Those would have just been extra things that would have gotten broken or come off the wall or something. The things that had to be there were nothing else. The ship's galley that we see here, and you have to take a video of it or whatever you want to do. This is in 1948 when it came back on duty. This would have been the configuration of the ship's galley. They would have had their first electric range. Prior to that, it would have been a coal-fired range, due to the fact that prior to that, it was a coal-fired ship. So when they needed coal, some of the guys like to say the cook would go down and get coal. I'm sure the cook never went down and got coal. I think the cook always would have somebody to go get coal for them if they wanted to eat. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure that they brought coal to the cook. The cook didn't go get coal. But it's nice. Stainless steel, electric range. It was modern for the day. Crew's quarters. As you can see, the crew didn't get their own space. What they got was a bunk and a locker. The lockers aren't huge. Most crew would not be able to put all of their clothes in a locker. They would put whatever was seasonal in their locker, and the rest of it they'd leave in their sea bag and hang it in the sea bag locker. Some bunks were considered to be better than others. The lower bunk, of course, is cooler. The one toward the center moved less, so you wouldn't rock as much in the center of the ship as you would on the outside of the ship.
The top outside would have been the least favorite.
The top outside would have been the worst, for sure. Yep. If you were there, you're probably the new guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. We have a memorial here to Robert Gullickson. Bob is the only crewman on board ship that lost his life while serving here. That was in 1957 during one of those excursions to town to get supplies. And on the way back from town, the boat similar to the one that we had up there, the boat that they were in was caught in a squall and was capsized, and they ended up in the water. And after about in early May of the year, the water temperature is about 45 degrees. So they were within 45 minutes they were suffering hypothermia, and Bob decided to swim ashore, see if you could get help. They were only, a few miles, maybe a couple of miles offshore, but did the thing that you would only do if you were suffering from hypothermia. He got out of his life vest to swim, and that was the end of him. And they never found his body. It was not much longer than 45 minutes after they went in the water that they were actually rescued. It took a while to realize that they weren't coming back. That when the captain realized that, hey, these guys should be back by now, he called the Coast Guard station. They said, well, they left 45 minutes ago. That's when they started they immediately started the search. So his partner was found. His name was Vince. I can't remember his last name. He was found and went to the hospital for about a week, and then came back to the ship. Pardon?
He'd been in the oxygen tank.
Yeah, he was definitely not in good shape, but at least he made it through. So that's Bob's bunk. We determined that was his bunk, so we put that there. These are things that came from the Lightship Sailors Association, and some things in here came from his family. The flag was the flag used at his memorial service, and that came from his family.